Good evening, everyone. We will call this workshop for Manvel City Council to order here at 5 p.m. We will head into executive session. I'll call the executive session, and we'll have council, Dan, Bobby, and Mr. Jason Black join us in executive session. And then Dan, whoever else you need to have come back with us. So City Council will convene into executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.071, consultation with attorney, and Texas Government Code Section 551.072, deliberation regarding real property to discuss the following: Russell Street right-of-way abandonment, Bighorn Cantina. And we will head into executive session here at, hold on, 5:01 p.m. Thank you, everyone. From executive session here at 5:24 p.m., having taken no action in executive session. We will now move on to the workshop where we are going to get an update regarding future amendments to the subdivision ordinance and the zoning ordinance, including tree preservation, NAICS, conditions for medical uses and personal care services in the original Manvel town site. Joes, I believe this one we are turning over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I just wanted to give you all an update on some of the upcoming amendments that we hope to bring to the table. One would be the zoning ordinance that has a few items, and then the other would be subdivision ordinance that has a few items. Starting with the zoning ordinance, number one would be landscaping and tree preservation. So the zoning ordinance includes our development-related landscaping requirements, and there's been some interest from council members as well as citizens about considering tree preservation for the city of Manvel. And we've also realized that our development landscaping requires planting of trees in the right-of-way, which is not a preferred thing to do right now. So staff is going to bring some amendments to that particular section to include preservation-related standards that includes tree protection during construction activities. It would include tree credits, permitting requirement. We also talk about certain type of development-related requirements like buffering between residential and commercial. A red line of what we are proposing is included in the packet. Again, it's a draft version. We've collaborated with some of our council members on this item, and based on what we've seen in some of the other communities that have tree preservation related requirements, and also taking feedback from citizens from the past, we've put together that draft version. Now, the version that you will see as part of the public hearing process will have some changes to it. We do plan to make some changes to make things clearer. We've discussed it with Planning, Development and Zoning Commission also, so that they're prepared to provide us input on it. We plan to discuss it with the Parks Board this coming Thursday. The other item on the zoning ordinance would be the conditions for SUP approval for medical uses. That was one of the issues that was brought up when we had a freestanding ER that came up at one of the last meetings. So we would propose an amendment to the hours of operation requirement of SUP approval for medical uses and other personal care type uses, to include a provision that if there is state requirement for 24 hours operation, that be factored in. This amendment is based on the input we got from the city attorney to make it in line with the Texas Occupation Code. We'll also be reviewing and presenting you input on the NAICS code. So right now the zoning code talks about 2007 version of the code. There hasn't been significant changes in terms of the different land use classifications, but staff is reviewing to make sure we can go to the most latest version without it affecting our permitted use table in any manner. We also are thinking about adding a section that talks about the process for rezoning and making sure that it aligns with what the state provides for. So that covers the zoning ordinance, and I know I went very quickly on the landscaping related and the tree preservation related item. I've included the red line draft so that y'all can review and be prepared to give us input or make changes before we get to the public hearing process, and also at that meeting. Just for everybody's benefit, some of the big highlights is including a tree preservation clause so that we can avoid indiscriminate, like clearing of property without any consideration for certain types of trees, including a criteria for protected trees, like certain types of trees being protected, making sure we have a criteria and a permit requirement for tree removal of protected trees, making sure there are exemptions and exceptions to situations when a protected tree can be removed, and then including requirements for tree protection on construction sites, and allowing tree credits for development projects when they are preserved to count towards the landscaping requirement, and then also certain provisions from a development landscaping perspective. Moving on to the subdivision ordinance, the biggest item that we are looking at amending is what we call the original Manvel town site area. So currently, the boundary is defined as large on north, on south, the railroad tracks on along Bissell, and then we have, I believe, McCoy on the west, and then Cemetery on the east. All that we are proposing is to change the boundary for north and south to go all the way to Lewis on the north and to the south all the way to Jordan. What that would open up is a lot of residential properties as well. And the primary reason for the original Manvel town site is to allow for asphalt roads to continue. And this would expand that provision within some of the other areas also where there are existing asphalt roads that can be improved and kind of continued. There are certain other provisions also that come along with the asphalt road. We'll be making some changes to that to reflect the change in the boundary. Like one of the examples would be right now it only includes commercially zoned properties. By this expansion it would also include residential properties, and we'll make some adjustments to make sure it all functions well. The other couple of things that we are looking for is one, our subdivision ordinance applies both in the city limits as well as in the ETJ, and we do run into situations where the ETJ right-of-way is owned by county, and we have certain requirements that we have to apply, but then the county says it's a planting-related requirement. They're not going to give us input on it. We do not have jurisdiction, so what we end up doing is having applicants go through a variance process. So we're trying to see if we can amend certain requirements in there to add provisions to avoid those variance requirements and to provide more clarity and more sense in terms of how the regulation applies in ETJ area where it's a little bit tricky. Then we've provided notice, and we've kind of include a wide range of sections that we could possibly amend to provide more clarity. Like there are certain lot size and lot width requirements that we have in the subdivision ordinance, which are fine for most of the regular situations. But like, for example, we have our lot width measurement requirement to be measured at the right-of-way line. Now that works well for the regular lots, but when we're talking about cul-de-sac and lots at a knuckle, it becomes a little tricky, and you get all of a sudden a weird shape or a way larger lot with respect to some of the other lots. So we're trying to address some of those changes as well. And of course, on both the ordinances, if we find some typos that we need to fix, we'll take care of that as well. And on subdivision ordinance, another example of some of the possible amendments that could happen is we have a section for development plat, which we are hoping to amend to provide more clarity in terms of what are some of the situations when a development plat can be used, and to clearly distinguish between a development plat and a subdivision plat. So that is all I have. If you all have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer.
Sounds good. Thank you, Joe. I want to say thank you to you and the team here at City Hall for your work on all of these items. I know for the tree preservation side, we had a working group of Councilman Oplager, Lands, and Bonner that worked with you guys on this. So, gentlemen, appreciate all of your work there, especially like the changes to the old Manvel town site. You know, the old Manvel town site was actually south of Highway 6. That's where it started. So extending it there to include residential is great. The process now, Joe, is if I understand it correctly, we'll have a joint public hearing next Monday with PD&Z. PD&Z will then review these items, make a recommendation, and we would expect to see these items for our first reading on our next council meeting. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Well, great overview. Thank you, Joes. Council, any comments, questions, feedback right now? No actions needed tonight, but just an introduction. Councilman Lance?
Can we talk a little bit about the conditions of the medical uses and personal care services. I
Sure,
know it's the issue about the 24/7.
correct.
Can you explain a little bit of that now, or should I wait until next Monday?
No, we can talk about it now. So our ordinance currently states that for certain types of uses, we require SUP, any type of medical use, as well as other personal care services where you would see the massage uses. We have a requirement that an SUP be approved, and there are 3 predetermined conditions that they have to follow, one of it being the hours of operation being limited from 8 to 10. But the way the language is written right now, it also says unless approved by an SUP.
Jones, can you try muting yours and then unmuting it?
Sorry. Hello? Yeah. So when we had our
Here, Joes, you can use this.
so when we had our freestanding ER item at at one of the last meetings, what we realized is if we approve an alternate hours of operation, like a 24 hours operation, we run into the risk of, and I'm sure Bobby can explain it better, we run into the risk of treating different types of medical uses as well as massage uses differently. And if there is a challenge to that decision based on the requirement in the Texas Occupations Code, which requires that medical uses as well as massage uses must be treated the same when it comes to zoning related requirements. So in order to address that issue, to make sure that we are treating all these uses consistently, but at the same time allowing for flexible uses, which in case of an ER is triggered by the state requirement for it to be 24/7. And I'm pretty sure there are other medical uses like hospitals where those requirements kick in. The suggestion from our city attorney was to amend the zoning ordinance so that the hours of operation has an additional clause which says that if there is a state requirement for 24 hours, a different time frame, we can allow that. So that way we are relying on state's provision to kind of vary whatever hours of operation we are considering. So that's what we'll be discussing.
Okay, I would just, and maybe I'm looking at this wrong, but I hate to see that we're hamstringing ourselves and not say, okay, we're allowing 24/7 now. They had this ordinance that someone could fall back on and say, look at here, here's the new ordinance, and I just don't want us to paint ourselves in the corner and not have that option to say no in the future. I mean, am I reading this wrong? I mean, you see what I'm saying?
No, I get you. And we will still have that option. And this would only apply to situations where the state requires that a certain facility have 24 hours operation, number one. But even with that, any land use decision that is made, it's solely the council's decision to determine whether that particular proposal is appropriate for that location.
Good. Thank you.
This would not have any impact on that.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Councilman. Any other comments or questions from council? Hearing none, let's go ahead and dive into some items in the regular agenda. That way we can cover some ground here. There is one item in the consent agenda, Dan, which is the impact fee item, the administrative piece. There were 2 takeaways from our last council meeting that you guys incorporated. Can you cover that for us briefly?
Yes, sir. I guess they're all staticky. I just alert IT already. So, oh, there they come. To the rescue. Some of them, David's was very staticky. It sounds like mine's staticky too. Okay, perfect.
Go ahead.
Okay, Mayor. So the question was, yes, in the consent agenda, yes, the item number about now? Fantastic. Thank you, sir. That's quick. If they connected within the second year, then they would still get a credit, if you will, of one equivalent single-family connection. So I just put an example. Actually, Lisette helped me put a little example in there in your packet together. It could be like a $20,000 incentive, essentially, if a business all of a sudden had water and sewer out in front of them and they wanted to connect. So they would still be responsible, just like a homeowner, for getting their plumber to run from the house to the main. Of course, they would have to do that, but at least the impact fee burden, I guess, would be significantly reduced for them. No matter what, and I think it was either Keith or David had asked about the meter and tap fees. So no matter what, they're still going to have to buy their meter itself, because those meters, I mean, we buy them as basically just essentially a pass-through cost. But the tap fee could potentially be removed if we've already put a tap out there for them and all they have to do is connect. If not, if we have to either do it ourselves or hire a subcontractor to go out and tap into the main, then again, we would pass that fee on to them per the fee schedule.
Awesome. Thank you, Dan. Sure. Council, any comments or questions about that? All right. Let's move on here to
I got a question about
agenda item number 2 or consent? Consent agenda item number 2, which is the text pool. Councilman Bonner, if you want to unmute yourself.
So does this exist currently, or is this something new? In other words, is there anybody that signs on it right now?
Yes, so it already exists. This is just updating the signatories. So previously, it's usually the city manager, the finance director, and on the EDC, it has me, and on this one, I think, I don't know who was it me as a third person as well? So this would be adding Dan to it.
So there's 4 people on it?
There's 3.
Because I didn't see but 3 names.
Hold on just a second.
Yeah, it looks like it's the mayor, the city manager, and the finance director. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so we added the mayor, so that's new.
Okay. That's the only thing. I just didn't have any background on it.
Okay. Thank you, Councilman. So we'll hold off right now for agenda item number 1. I think a good one to cover, we'll combine agenda items number 2 and 3, unless council has any issues with that. Essentially the same thing. We can vote on those at once. Agenda item number...
Mayor, we do have one little wrinkle with item number 3.
So for item number 3, it's got Seth Crosco on there for reappointment. However, that appointment's done by the county, not by the council.
Okay.
So they have one appointment to the TERS board as part of the agreement. So we'll just have to remove him. Commissioners Court will have to vote on that.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Tammy. Let's talk about agenda item number 4, an interlocal agreement for the allocation of sales tax revenue with ESD3. I think we're all aware of Proposition A that is on the ballot. And Bobby, can you give us an overview of what this interlocal agreement is, how it would work if the proposition passes and if the proposition does not pass?
Okay, well, I did put together a data sheet for you guys. I don't know if you've had a chance to go into it with detail, and the ESD3 guys are here. They just showed up. They've approved the agreement on their end with a special call meeting they did for us earlier this afternoon. As the mayor said, there's an election. Typically, ESDs get their funding through property tax. They can assess up to 10 cents per valuation in property tax. But it also says they can get additional money from a sales tax if it's approved by the voters. That's what's on the ballot for this Proposition A that's coming up, is to approve a sales tax, which will help with their funding, which if you've been keeping up with the ESD, they're pretty much in critical need of. So what a lot of people don't know is that there's a cap on the amount of sales tax that everybody can charge. You got the state, you got the county, you got the city. There's sometimes other special districts that can add on a sales tax, but everybody's sales tax altogether is capped at 8 1/4, and you'll probably see it on your receipt. If you're in the city limits, it'll say 8 1/4 sales tax. Now, if you're in the county and there's no city or nobody else doing it, you may see a little lesser sales tax, so 6 1/4. That 2 cents of the local portion of the sales tax, nobody's assessing because they're out in the county. There's no city. There might not be a crime control district. The county might not be doing anything. There may not be an ESD. So what this will do because the county has half a cent in Brazoria County, they're going to, if it's successful, do a 1.5 cent sales tax for the area within their district, which includes Manvel. Now, like I said, there's a cap at 8.25. So in the city limits, because of our city sales tax and the county, we're already capped at 8.25. So if this passes, it will do absolutely nothing to any purchases for goods and services subject to sales tax in the city. If they're in the city, it's already capped. It's at 8.25. If they get their 1.5, it won't be 9.75 sales tax. It's still going to be 8.25. But so what this will be important, though, is in areas in the county, and it could affect us in our ETJ, which, as you know, oftentimes comes into the city. So what would happen is, if it gets passed, their sales tax would be assessed in the ETJ, and if we later go to annex the property, it's already at the cap. So then the city wouldn't be able to put its sales tax on top of the 8.25 that would already be maxed out in the ETJ, as well as in the city. It would be maxed out with the ETJ, with the ESD's tax. This could have important complications for our growth, because if we do annex areas, we're going to have to provide services to them. Obviously, a shortfall in funding is a problem for us. Obviously, the ESD needs it because they've got their shortfalls too. So the state law does say that an ESD and a city can agree to apportion that tax in the ETJ. And the ESD's been very cooperative. They've come to the city and say, we realize the city, if it has, annexation later, might need some money. We need it. Can we split it? And we're going to propose a 50-50 split by this agreement, because we want to be your partner. So we've had some very cooperative meetings with them. They've given us the agreement. We've gone through it. It's very favorable to the city, because if the election doesn't pass, then there's nothing to worry about. There's no sales tax, additional sales tax in the ETJ. But if the sales tax election is effective, instead of getting nothing when we annex an area, we would get half. So it's to our advantage to enter into this agreement and share this in advance with the ESD. So that really, this agreement is what's on your agenda. And like I said, if the sales tax election fails, then the agreement's null and void, nothing happens. If it passes, we can be assured in the future, when we annex an area, we'll at least get 50% of that sales tax instead of nothing. So it's really beneficial to us to enter into this. And if I've missed out anything, guys, from the ESD, please let me know. But I think that's kind of where we are. They had a special meeting just for us. They approved the agreement. I think they've got 2 originals in hand to give Tammy. And this would be in effect, if the sales tax election does pass. If it doesn't, then this is all null and void.
You did a great summary there, Bobby. Great data sheet that explained it all. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here tonight. Council, do you guys have any comments or questions about this agenda item?
I have clarification. So I get that the state caps our sales tax at 8.25, but then it's up to us and everybody to fight for the percentages of that. So if this passes, what are we compromising for them to get that? Because clearly, it's already going somewhere, so what are we giving up?
What do you mean it's already going?
So
in the
right
ETJ,
now,
it's not.
in the ETJ and places
Are
outside
we
of the
only
city.
talking about the ETJ? We're not talking about the city of Manvel?
Correct. We're already maxed
Okay.
out, so there's nothing that would have
So
no
we're
effect.
capped out.
We're maxed out first with the city sales tax in the city, in the ETJ.
So this is
we're
for
not.
future.
For areas that we would annex later.
Later on, if we annex it, they get 50% of that, we get 50% of it.
Correct.
Okay.
Because if Prop A passes, they would get 100% of it. But in order to be good partners, they said, we'll agree to 50-50, because they
Okay.
also don't want to hinder the city and the needs that we would have to meet with the funds.
At the time of annexation, though.
If we annex, correct.
Up until then, they get 100% of it.
But this prop doesn't affect our current sales tax that comes to the city as of now?
No.
Okay, just needed that clarification.
That's a good
Thanks.
question. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you.
All right, council, any other comments or questions?
I just think that was an important thing.
Mute yourself.
An important thing for the people that are going to vote on this is that at the time of annexation, that's not going to change their tax. It's just going to change the distribution of it. So that might be important for people that are hearing that we're coming into an agreement. is that if that came to pass, it wouldn't change what they're being taxed.
Absolutely, Councilman. Good clarification there. Well, we have 10 minutes. I want to make sure that we still use some of this time here. I know that we have the applicants that are here for agenda item number 1. They'll want to present, so we'll give them an opportunity to present during the regular meeting. But staff, can you just give us what your overview would be for agenda item number 1? We did discuss this in executive session, but if you just want to kind of cover it high level for the public, that'd be great.
Sure. So this is a request for a right-of-way abandonment for the portion of Russell Street from Highway 6 to Large. This is in association with the development of the property at 7303 Russell. It's the vacant property next to Bighorn Restaurant. The applicant is wanting to develop that in conjunction with the existing Bighorn retail area, restaurant area, as a unified restaurant complex. And they're looking at a Mexican restaurant, since it's not a secret anymore. So the request is to abandon the Russell Street right-of-way so that the uniform site plan can be developed. Now, we did notice some Centerpoint lines in the Russell Street right-of-way. Centerpoint Energy has been notified. The applicant has also reached out to Centerpoint to get some clarity on what their plans are for the existing facilities in the right-of-way. Per our agreement with Centerpoint, we are required to retain an easement for any existing facilities in the right-of-way, even if we abandon the right-of-way. This was presented to Planning, Development, and Zoning Commission. Staff is recommending approval of the right-of-way abandonment with the provision of retaining an easement, and also upon payment of any fees or addressing any conditions that the council would decide in conjunction with the request. Staff has also discussed with the applicant the provision of improving School Road and certain other improvement that could be considered in lieu of making a payment towards the right-of-way abandonment. Planning and Zoning Commission is also forwarding a favorable recommendation for the right-of-way abandonment, and this would be the second public hearing because the first public hearing was done at the Planning, Development, and Zoning Commission through the process. I don't know if I missed anything.
No, Joseph, I think you're good. I think one of the things that's important is that in their application, the reason part we're doing this, obviously the same owner or related owners, to develop the cohesive development of the property as a restaurant and service hub, and it consolidates property holdings in single ownership group on both sides of the street. So I guess it would be more of a complex rather than two standalone restaurants. So, but we're all very excited about the project. Typically, as Joe said, typically we require an appraisal and work off of that to get compensation, although we have entertained alternative means of compensation or improvements, betterments, upgrades, that sort of thing in lieu of cash. So I think we're happy to discuss that as well, and we're all very happy to hear about this project.
Absolutely. Appreciate that overview, guys. I know for me, I'm very open and would be in support of the abandonment. It makes sense because if we don't abandon the road, they'd be obligated to build both sides of Russell plus half of King Street, plus, unless they request a variance, they'd have to build part of Large. So abandoning it makes sense for their parking lot, and whether that's the value of it, paying that in a cash or a check, or in what you referred to, Bobby, an alternative means of compensation. I think leaving that between staff and the applicant to negotiate as to what's the best situation for both parties would be the right way to go, and something I'd be in full support of. It makes sense. Council, any comments or questions for staff right now? And then we will have the applicant present during the regular meeting. Mayor Pro Tem?
Just a clarification, I think it's a Tex-Mex restaurant, right? Not Mexican?
Yes, Tex-Mex, yes.
Those things matter, just saying.
And we need an update on margaritas. That's the big talk of the town is margaritas. Will they be there? Will they not be there? That's the mystery. All right. So I think what we'll do now, council, unless you guys have any other items on the agenda, we'll give ourselves a 5-minute break here, and then we'll kick off at 6 o'clock. How's that sound?
Sounds great.
All right. We'll wrap up workshop here at 5:55. Thank you, everyone. Good evening, everyone. We will call this city council to order here at 6:01 p.m. We have 6 of 7 members present, and here at the beginning, I want to just take a moment of privilege just to thank Miss Alyssa for the new design that you see back here. So our Assistant City Secretary took down the picture. We're going to do something over there and put these panels up just to give it a different aesthetic. So thank you, Alyssa, for doing that. We're going to start with the invocation tonight, and we have our very own Councilman Jerome Hudson that's going to be leading us in the invocation. Councilman?
Thank you. Father God, we thank you, praise you, magnify your most gracious and precious name. We ask that you continue showering blessings upon us. This past Holy Week, we understand that we're Christians, we love each other, and may we continue the city to grow. We ask these blessings and many more in your Son Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Councilman Hudson told me that on Easter Sunday he went to 3 different church services. So I said, all right, he's blessed tonight, so he's gonna lead us in the prayer. Next, we have the inspirational reading, and for those that do not know, Councilman Hudson this is going to be most likely his final council meeting, unless there is a runoff. Councilman Hudson has served the city in this position for 9 years, and in the city of Manvel, we believe in term limits, and he is term limited here with his last year on City Council, and could not think of any better way, Councilman, than giving you this inspirational reading. And we'll have a celebration of your years of service here at a future meeting. But just wanted to say thank you for all that you've done in service to the city of Manvel and the sacrifices that you, your wife, and your family have made, sir. So with that, what do you have for us?
My pleasure to serve. I have a few tidbits of inspirational reading. It comes from the 7 spiritual laws of success. If you observe people around you, you'll see that they spend 99% of their time defending their points of view. If you just relinquish the need to defend your point of view, you will, in that relinquishment, gain access to enormous amount of energy that have been previously wasted. And the past is history, the future is a mystery, and the moment is a gift. That is why this moment is called the present. Only then will you become lighthearted, carefree, joyous, and free.
Thank you, Councilman. Good words. So next we're going to say the pledge, and we've moved the flags over to here. So if you'll please, if you can, stand and join me in saying the pledge. First to the U.S. flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And to the Texas flag, honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. All right, council, if you guys can join me around in the front here. We'll have 2 photos to take. So we have 2 proclamations to give tonight and to present. Council, if you can join me around in the front. The first that we have is for Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month, and I believe that we have a group here tonight to accept this proclamation. So if you guys could please, we need that WD-40, guys, I'm sorry. So if you guys could please join us up here in the front, we'll read this off, and then whoever your fearless leader is, we'll have them say a few words. So which one of you is that going to be? All right. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. It's good to see you guys. Welcome, guys. Welcome. So this proclamation reads, whereas motorcycles are a common means of transportation and recreation for many residents of Manvel across the United States, and whereas ensuring the safety of motorcyclists is vital as they are more vulnerable on the road compared to other vehicle occupants. And whereas May is recognized nationally as Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month, providing an opportunity to raise awareness about motorcycle safety among all road users. And whereas in their latest report, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration reported that 6,218 motorcyclists were killed in traffic crashes, accounting for 15% of all traffic fatalities. And whereas key safety measures include motorcyclists wearing Department of Transportation compliant helmets, refraining from riding under the influence of alcohol or drugs, and adhering to speed limits. And whereas drivers of other vehicles are encouraged to be vigilant, check blind spots, and yield the right of way to motorcyclists when appropriate to prevent accidents. And whereas the City of Manvel is committed to promoting awareness and safe practices to reduce motorcycle-related injuries and fatalities. Now, therefore, I, Dan Davis, by the virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the City of Manvel, Texas, do hereby proclaim May 2025 as Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month in the City of Manvel, Texas.
Hello, everyone. Sorry. We are the Warriors Bikers for Charity, the Brazoria County chapter. We are one of 4 chapters in the Gulf Coast area. Spring weather is here, so there'll be a lot of bikes out there on the streets, summertime, enjoying riding. It's the perfect weather to be riding. So I'll ask everybody, every motorist, to please be aware of motorcycles out there and look twice. Also, we're here to promote motorcycle awareness for the month of May. We want to thank each and every one of you for allowing us to promote motorcycle awareness here in your City of Manvel. As more and more riders return to the open road, the American Motorcycle Association reminds motorists to look for motorcycles and extend courtesy to their two-wheeled counterparts this Motorcycle Awareness Month. May heralds the unofficial start of the summer travel season, and this annual campaign aims to increase awareness and advocate for enhanced safety measures that improve motorcyclist safety nationwide. The safety has increased awareness of motorcycles on the road, one of our paramount concerns here at the AMA, and said AMA President CEO Bob Dingman. Motorcycle Awareness Month is the perfect time the AMA to address our core mission to promote the motorcycle lifestyle and protect the future of motorcycling. One of the best ways to accomplish this is by encouraging measures that make our members safer on the road. During Motorcycle Awareness Month, all year long, it's imperative that motorists and motorcyclists work together to create safe roadways and reduce the number of crashes in our nation's highways. In recent surveys, AMA members indicated that the most concerning issues facing motorcycles on the road pertain to distracted driving and the inattentive usage of automated driving systems, ADS, in cars, trucks. Regarding these dangerous issues, among others, the AMA stresses the importance of exercise and vigilance behind the wheel and avoiding distractions while driving. The AMA also reminds those who own cars with advanced driver's assistance capabilities to remain alert and attentive when operating their vehicles. Additionally, drivers should remain aware of their surroundings when using driver-assisted technology, including lane keeping assistance, automated braking, and adaptive cruise control, as many of those features remain in the early stages of development. As we celebrate Motorcycle Awareness Month this May, the AMA urges all road users, including both cars and motorcycles, to drive safely and remain vigilant on the road to ensure a safe environment for riders and drivers alike. Since the creation of Motorcycle Awareness Month in the early 1980s, the AMA and its network of clubs, states, motorcycles, rights organizations, and motorcycle industry and U.S. government entities have been steadfast supporters of Motorcycle Awareness Month. Stay engaged with AmericanMotorcyclist.com and the AMA social media channels throughout the month for more information on motorcycle awareness.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for those words. You know, the biggest difference between people that ride bicycles and motorcycles is you guys actually stop at stop signs. So thank you for that. We appreciate it. We actually have a council member that rides his motorcycle pretty frequently, and Councilman Oplager right there. So I saw him rolling up to City Hall the other day. I was like, okay, there you go, there you go. Well, we have this proclamation to present you guys here tonight, just to recognize Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month, and we appreciate you guys. And what we'll do is we'll take a photo real quick here.
Everybody between these two metal plates.
Squeeze it.
Yeah. Crystal, I can't really see you. Can you see me now? No, don't do that. I feel bad. Okay, Carrie, can I get you to go that way a little bit? There you go. Okay, right here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. This is so funny. He's gonna do that. The picture is gonna be like, because she's so short back there. Terrible. Okay, right here. And 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Are we done, Mayor?
We have one more. All right, we have one more proclamation to read off tonight, and this is for Professional Municipal Clerks Week. We're going to have our Assistant City Secretary, Alyssa, come forward, and our City Secretary, Tammy, come forward. For those that don't know, Tammy is one of the longest-serving city employees here at the City of Manvel. She also drinks the most energy drinks here in the City of Manvel. She has single-handedly kept Bighorn Barbecue open with all of the energy drinks that she buys. So I'm going to read this out, and then Tammy, we're going to give it to you to say a few words, okay? So this reads, whereas the office of the professional municipal clerk, a time-honored and essential part of local government, exists throughout the world and serves as the foundation of transparent, accountable, and efficient governance. And whereas the municipal clerks of the City of Manvel play an indispensable role in supporting democracy by maintaining the integrity of public records, ensuring the fair and open conduct of elections, and providing critical administrative support to the city, council, and residents. You want to know why? Because look, they're the ones that put this together for themselves. They're on top of things. They know these things to do. I just thought about that as I was reading. I was like, you guys put together your own proclamation, but next year we need to take care of that for them, all right? Whereas municipal clerks serve as the official record keepers of the city, managing vital documents, preserving historical records, and ensuring public access to governmental information, all while upholding the highest standards of ethics and professionalism. And whereas the responsibilities of municipal clerks extend far beyond paperwork and procedures, as they are often the first point of contact for citizens, Tammy can speak to that, providing guidance, assistance, and a welcoming presence to those who engage with their local government. And whereas the municipal clerk's vital yet often unseen role in keeping local government running smoothly and handling essential responsibilities with professionalism and dedication make them the steadfast foundation of our city's administration. And whereas Professional Municipal Clerk Week, established by the International Institute of Municipal Clerks, is an opportunity for the City of Manvel to recognize and honor these dedicated public servants who contribute so much to our community. Now, therefore, I, Dan Davis, by the virtue of the authority vested in me as Mayor of the City of Manvel, Texas, do hereby proclaim May 4th to May 10th, 2025 as Professional Municipal Clerks Week in the City of Manvel, and encourage all residents and citizens to recognize and appreciate the hard work, dedication, and invaluable contributions of our municipal clerks, whose service ensures the continued success and stability of our local government. So thank you guys for all you do. Let's give them a round of applause.
So, if you'd have asked me 21 years ago when I came to work for the city, if I was ever going to be a municipal clerk, I would have said, not no, but hell no. And thank you, Mayor Martin. When the position came open, I want to say it was at least 3 or 4 times that she said, Tammy, we really want you for this position. I'm like, not interested. So I'm so glad that you asked that many times and that I said yes, because truly I cannot think of a better position in a city than this position with any city. The clerks are a family, all the different clerks, whether it's Manvel, Iowa Colony, Pearland, Friendswood, Sugarland, Frisco, you name it. All the different cities in the state of Texas pull together, and we have an email group that we partner off of to get ideas and to learn new laws coming into place. And of all the different positions, I can't think of another one that truly forms that family throughout that group. So anyways, thank you, Mayor Martin, for that, and have the best assistant ever. If anyone sees my Facebook post, they can always see when something special happens. It's usually this one behind the scenes that has made everything pretty. Not sure if you noticed the decorations back here, but that was this one here as well. So we're very lucky to have her as well. So thank you.
Well, thank you guys for all you do. You are the glue that holds us together. And for Alyssa specifically, she's not the assistant to the city secretary. She's the assistant city secretary. You know, subtle office reference there for all of us office fans. So, all right, we'll take a photo here now.
Right here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Can't believe it's been 21. You got a big 20 last year, like the last one, right?
4 more years with the 21.
Oh, yeah. Text message is different.
All right, now we have the public hearing. We already covered the item of this public hearing during the workshop, so we will bypass that portion of the agenda. I'll go ahead and read this public hearing. We'll do the calls for anybody wishing to speak on the subject of this public hearing. And if you wish to speak, please raise your hand. We'll call you forward to the front. So this public hearing is to hear input from the public regarding an ordinance of the City of Manvel, Texas, finding and determining that public convenience and necessity no longer require the continued existence of the city right-of-way, consisting of a 0.4073 acre tract of land in the Mary V. O'Donnell Survey, abstract number 470, City of Manvel, Brazoria County, Texas, being that portion of Russell Street located between State Highway 6 and Large Avenue, vacating, abandoning, and closing said public right-of-way, authorizing the mayor to execute and the city secretary to attest respectively quitclaim deeds conveying respective interests in said abandoned right-of-way to the abutting property owners, providing for severability and containing other provisions relating to the subject. We will open this public hearing at 6:19 and do the first call for anybody wishing to speak on the subject of this public hearing. Hello, sir. If you could state your name and address for the record, and the floor is yours.
Okay, it's on. Alan Mueller with Gromax Development. What is the address of the office? 902 South Friendswood in Friendswood. We're here representing the Dixon family here this evening that owns property on both sides of Russell Avenue, the operators of Bighorn Barbecue and the future Tex-Mex restaurant that's coming this way. So I'll be brief, but just to orient you, this is the existing restaurant. This is the existing Russell right here. So the intent is to just integrate all of this together into one complex so that Russell, would still have access from either, no longer Russell, but the driveway would have access from either end, but you'd be able to park off of it and it'd all be connected together in kind of a seamless parking environment. So just a couple of points. I think many of you may have seen this already, but just a couple of points that have been mentioned on the Centerpoint easement. We are working with Centerpoint. The only line that's out there right now serves that existing building that's on the east side that's vacant. They have called in the disconnect, for that. So we're hopeful that in the long run, or even in the short term, that'll be removed, and there would be no need for that power line that's running through there. But in the short term, we certainly understand that the abandonment would have to be subject to that easement that would be there, and then we'll continue to work to try to remove that. Regardless, if we have to work around that existing easement, we can do that, but obviously the preference would be from a visual perspective that it would be better if it was not there, but we will continue to work on that. And then the Margarita question, the application has been made, or they will be working on an application to the state for a private club license, which would be the mechanism that would allow for the margaritas to be able to be served at that location. So,
Real margaritas?
Real margaritas, yes, ma'am.
You got a smile out of Councilman
Yes.
Lands right there.
So without the private club license, it would be the under 17% margarita. But with the private club, they would be able to have the real margarita. So with that, again, we appreciate your time, and we look forward to continuing this forward. As you know, we have also made an application to the EDC. We'll be back in June to finish that process up, and in the meantime, we'll be talking to city staff to just try to make sure we button up all the details of any agreements that need to happen.
Fantastic. Thank you, sir. If we have any questions, we'll ask those during the agenda item. Appreciate that. We'll now do a second call for anybody wishing to speak on the subject of this public hearing. And we will do a third call for those wishing to speak on the subject of this public hearing. All right, we will officially close this public hearing at 6:22 p.m. I do want to take a step back. I overlooked an item, which is the proclamation we have here for Hurricane Preparedness Week. That week is May 4th through 10th, and we are issuing a proclamation for that, just encouraging citizens and residents to look at some essential services that are out there and resources such as the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, the National Weather Service, and also look at STEER, which is State of Texas Emergency Assistance Registry, hurricane evacuations routes, preparedness guides, and also to download the Ready Brazoria County app. So this is going to be May 4th through May 10th, and I'm sure that working with our public information officer, we'll be able to put more information out there on social media heading into that week. Next, we will move on to public comments. We have one comment submitted here tonight from Waste Connections. So I believe we have a representative here from Waste Connections. If you guys can come forward, state your name, address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to address the body. Thank you for being here tonight.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for having us here today. My name is Jason Rosario. I'm the supervisor for Waste Connections. I'm here to introduce Matt Lowe. He is taking over for Zach Ryan. And
Good evening. My name is Matt Lowe. I just recently transferred to our Alvin yard that oversees the collection of trash here in Manvel. Zach Ryan's still with the company. He got transferred up to a larger yard up in Seguin, Texas. So he went out there in January, and I backfilled him. I've been with Waste Connections for a little over 8 years now. I grew up and graduated in Friendswood, Texas. My mom was the assistant principal of Manvel Junior High for a year, Robin Lowe. Been a while now, but so I'm from the area. I know the area pretty well. Just look forward to working with y'all and continuing the partnership that Zach and Jason have developed here.
Awesome. Do you happen to be related to Mark Lowe or Johnny Lowe at all?
No.
No. Okay. All right.
No.
Just had to ask, because when you said your mom was the principal here for a little bit.
Yeah. No.
Frank's back there chuckling to himself. And
is it a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, Matt, we look forward to working with you. Congratulations on this role. Tammy's going to be your main point of contact, and we'll have some more conversations in the future.
Cool. And I brought some cards just in case y'all need to contact.
That would be fantastic.
Great to have you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. You guys have a good evening. We now have no other public comments, so we will move on to the city manager update. Dan, what do you have for us tonight?
Thank you, Mayor. Just some scheduling updates, some calendar updates. I guess I've got 4 of them. The first one being Viewpoint. So if you remember with the Dennis Quaid show, they'll be in town tomorrow filming, if we have good weather, that is. So you may see them. I know that they've got a pretty involved schedule. They've got a few interviews to do. I think EDC, the mayor, myself. I think they want to go out and look at Manvel High School, some of the capital projects that are going on. Probably the old, well, what is becoming Bulldog's wedding chapel, probably some of the trees and all that kind of good stuff. So anyway, if you see them around town tomorrow, and that's for the Viewpoint. It's called Viewpoint. It's also called Discover America. The series that happens on PBS. So that's pretty exciting. Second one is the day after that, Wednesday, is Administrative Professionals Day. So just keep that in mind. Thursday is our rescheduled Parks Board meeting. Actually, I guess it's our regularly scheduled. We missed last month. We didn't have a quorum. So we really need this board meeting to meet Thursday night. We've got lots of action items for them. That'll be in this room at 6 p.m. And then just, I think we heard earlier, but just a quick reminder, next Monday will be a joint public hearing. So that'll be PD&Z and council. So I think Tammy will probably send out a reminder for you, but that's all, Mayor.
Great. Thank you, Dan. Do we have a quorum, do you guys know, confirmed for Thursday? Okay, great. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Next, we will move on to the council consent agenda. Any comments or questions regarding the agenda? Hearing none, I will make a motion to approve. Do we have a second? We have a second from Councilman Bonner. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously 6-0. Moving on to the regular agenda, we have agenda item number 1, which is consideration and possible action to approve the first of 2 readings of ordinance 2025-0-13. We had a presentation from staff during the workshop. We had a presentation during the public hearing from the applicant. Any comments or questions from council? Hearing none, I will make a motion to approve this ordinance with a direction to staff to negotiate with the applicants for either fair market value cash compensation or an alternative means of compensation. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
We'll give that one to Councilman Lands. We'll go to you next, Mayor Pro Tem. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously 6-0. Council, with your consent, I'd like to combine agenda items number 2 and 3. Are you guys good with that? Okay, we'll read these out. We have consideration of possible action to approve the reappointment of Nicole Mitchell to place 2 and Rosa Donaire to place 4 on SMDA, with being a 2-year term set to expire on April 30th, 2027. And we also have agenda item, thank you gentlemen for being here tonight. We're excited for y'all. Then we have agenda item number 3, which is consideration and possible action to approve the reappointment of Seth Carrasco to place 1, Nicole Mitchell to place 2, Rosa Donaire to place 4 on the TERS 3 board for a term of 2 years to expire on April 30th, 2027. Any comments or questions from council in regards to these 2 agenda items? Hearing none, Mayor Pro Tem, if you can make a motion, but with a motion to exclude Seth Carrasco.
Okay, I think he had a question.
He just wanted to make sure we captured the
Okay.
removal of Seth.
So we make a motion to approve ordinances, 2, agenda item 2 and 3, with the exception to exclude Seth Carrasco on 2.
Perfect. All right, so we have a motion for that agenda item. Do we have a second? We have a second from Councilman Bonner. All those in favor? All those opposed? Those 2 items pass in a 6-0 vote. Agenda item number 4, this is consideration and possible action to approve an interlocal agreement for the allocation of sales tax revenue with Brazoria County Emergency Services District Number 3 and authorizing the mayor to execute the agreement. We had a presentation from staff during the workshop. We do have representatives here from the ESD Council. Do you guys have any comments or questions for anybody about this agenda item? Hearing none, Councilman Oplager, can I have a motion?
I would like to make a motion to approve item.
We have a motion to approve. Councilman Hudson, can I get a second?
I'll second that.
We get a second from Councilman Hudson. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes in a 5-1 vote. Thank you, gentlemen. Councilman Lance. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here. We appreciate your flexibility and desire to work with the city on this item, and best of luck with the upcoming election here.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time. All right, mayor and council comments. Do we have any mayor and council comments? We have a comment from Councilman Lands.
I know it's going to interfere with our Thursday night meeting that we have planned, but this Thursday also is Manvel High School awards night for scholarships at 6 o'clock. That's where I'll be because we're presenting one of my memorial scholarship to a student. So if anybody's able to come, there's room in the auditorium.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Councilman. Councilman, if you could share those details with Tammy, and then Tammy, if we could have you distribute those to council, that would be fantastic.
Also, I missed when I stepped out, what meeting were we posting a quorum about? On Thursday night?
It's Parks.
The Parks Recs Board. Okay, and then also we have the Drainage Roundtable, which I've reached out to Mr. Froberg. He's going to be tied up on Thursday night, but still welcome to come, and other stakeholders, community stakeholders, to join that as well. So that's my own personal thing. That's not the city. Clarification. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. One thing that I'll add, Dan, you said Wednesday is, what is Wednesday again?
Administrative Professionals Day.
Administrative Professional Days. Well, if there's anything that you guys can think of that we can do as council to show love to our city administrative professionals, please let us know. I think I speak for council in saying that we would be in wholesome. More monsters. All right, we'll do it. We'll do it. Go buy them from Bighorn. All right. Any other mayor and council comments? Hearing none, do I have a motion to adjourn? We have a motion to adjourn from Councilman Bonner. We second that from Councilman Hudson. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously 6-0.